The onus is now very much on employers and employees to stay safe. We may be living with COVID, but it hasn't gone away.
Well, some of you have been getting in touch with your questions regarding COVID testing, and Mark's here to answer some of the questions. First of all, Mark, Marion Spironi asks, infection rates are very high again. Will the government bring back any restrictions?
Well, they're desperate not to, I have to say. There's a new Living with COVID plan on their website. Believe it or not, it's well worth a read. They're still advising us to wear masks, for example, to beware of poorly ventilated areas and to keep your distance from people if you are feeling vulnerable. But of course, this is advice now, not rules. Infection rates are actually coming down according to official data. But the number one piece of advice still is to get vaccinated. OK, second question coming up now. Hilda Haskell says, how come COVID cases are increasing when so many people have been vaccinated? Yeah, it seems counterintuitive. Worth pointing out, just 70% of Londoners still have only had their first, or have had just their first dose. The aim of the vaccine, of course, is twofold: to reduce transmission, but also to limit how ill you get. Hospitalisations and deaths, they're well down. So the vaccines are working, really. Trouble with COVID is it keeps mutating. We've got another mutation in China now, so we need these measures as well, or we need common sense to try and stay on top of it. Now, some people are, of course, more vulnerable than others. Here's a question from Mark Webb.
For example, me, I'm in my 50s, I have multiple sclerosis, I'm a wheelchair user, but I don't take any drugs that suppress my immune system. So do I qualify?
Yeah, real tricky one this. The fourth jab, or second booster, some are calling it, is only, of course, for certain groups at the moment. There is a list of specific illnesses like cancer or bone marrow treatment, but for others, it really does depend on your circumstances. So I hate to dodge this one, but you do need to check with your doctor or specialist. They should contact you, but if you've not heard, chase them up. OK, Mark, before you go, I want to squeeze one more question because lots of people have been asking this one, so I need to put this to you. If I test positive, do I have to isolate or even report my result? That's a good question. Well, it is, yeah, and this is where it's all got a bit grey, really, hasn't it? There is no official rule now to isolate, of course, if you test positive, or to even do a test, or to report that test if you do take one. The government really has passed all this on to us to use our common sense, our morals, to do the right thing depending on our circumstances. I do think this is all becoming a balancing act, especially for employers. They can go belt and braces, if you like, pay for tests, get signed up to a system as we saw there, monitor it thoroughly. They can just ask employees to take that cost on and test themselves. But they're about £2 a pop, so with the cost of living rising, it's another cost, a bit of a gamble. Or they can take a real laissez-faire, hands-off approach and just kind of hope, really, that they don't get a big outbreak of sickness. Because, of course, as we saw with the airlines there, if you do get it wrong, it can have pretty disastrous consequences. Absolutely. Still difficult times. Mark Ashdown for now. Thanks very much.